Hello, welcome to Bloodhaus, the show where we talk about art house horror movies. I'm your host, Joshua Conkel.
And I'm your co-host and armless martyr, Drusilla Adeline. Welcome to another week, Josh.
Welcome. What a week. What a world.
What's going on?
Wow. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. I'm fucking stressed all the time.
Yeah, same here. But we don't have to get into it, I guess.
Please no.
How are you?
Other than that, I'm good. Josh, I'm so busy. I'm so extremely busy right now on so many different things that I'm all very excited about, and they're all like top priority buttoned lip projects. Like I truly can't be talking to anyone about these. But I have like multiple of them going on right now, and they're all concurrent, and they all have similar timelines, and I would never want to like forsake one for the other. So I am like, I have like 2 desks in my office and a coffee table between them. And so I'm like constantly running between the 3 because my brain was like, oh, I'll separate things out in a physical space so that I don't get confused and that I can focus on different things at different times. And now I'm just like running and tripping over everything in a very small little, bedroom office that I have.
Consider yourself blessed because in my neck of Hollywood, it's tumbleweeds. Like,
yeah,
nothing is happening in my neck of the woods. I mean, I'm pitching a show, but that's like not very much work, and it literally is like crickets, tumbleweeds, nothing.
That's what I've heard. Again, like the whole industry is like bracing for a strike, and they don't know.
Well, that's not happening now.
Oh, okay.
That's not happening. Yeah. So that's we're out of the woods on that. But I think
thank God.
It'll just take a long time for the sort of machine to get up and running again, I think, post-strike. And you just have to wait it out.
Yeah.
This week we both watched the same movies, sort of by coincidence, I think.
Yeah.
So, and the movies are very similar. So there was this sort of insane discourse on X this week or last week that involved the Michael Mann film Miami Vice, and it made me realize that I had never seen a Michael Mann movie, and
which is crazy, honestly.
Yeah, well, I always thought they're like kind of boy-coded movies. So when I was like a kid, and I assumed that they would just be like Heat, like cop movies. I didn't know that any of them were associated with like Silence of the Lambs and that book series. I just had no idea. So I guess I just thought that they were action movies, basically. So if someone told me to watch Manhunter from 1986, and I did, and I loved it.
It's delightful. So I also watched Manhunter this week. I watched it after you did. I've seen it many times, but my girlfriend and I had watched the Hannibal TV series not too long ago that Brian Fuller created and showran. And she's a huge fan of that. Has obviously seen Silence of the Lambs, had obviously seen the Hannibal film, and had obviously seen the Red Dragon film, which is also based on the same book, but had entirely missed Manhunter. And I was like, it's an 80s synth dream. Let's do it. And again, like this kind of Twitter discourse that like she was telling me about, because I'm entirely off of there at the moment. Yeah. She was giving me like daily updates on this. It was outrageously.
It was pretty delicious.
Very, very funny. It was a very good like respite for my stresses. I was kind of like, yeah, we should fuck around and watch Manhunter. It's also because it's on the Criterion Channel right now in their like synth soundtrack category, along with Michael Mann's other fucking awesome 80s movie, Thief.
Yeah, I want to see that too. Phil from Fangoria said that we should cover the movie The Keep on our podcast, which would be probably great. It has a really, I haven't seen that movie, but I know about it. So I know like what a tortured, strange production and post-production history it has. So yeah, something to think about. I'm learning all about Michael Mann.
If Phil wants to come on and talk about The Keep, we can do it that way.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to track down a VHS tape of that movie to watch it again.
Yeah, it was on the 80s Criterion collection when that was around, but that's gone.
I watched it on like Amazon Prime years ago. It's still no transfer. It looks good. And it's a very dark movie. It's very
literally
weird.
dark, like you can't see it, or dark as in
no,
thematically?
literally dark, as in it's hard to tell like what's going on in space around the actors.
I know Paramount really heavy fucked with that movie, and
They really heavy fucked with that movie, and it's like a very different version than what Michael Mann intended. It's also a very different version than the book that it's based off of. And apparently, Kino Lorber tried to they successfully licensed it from Paramount a few years ago with the intent of putting it out on home video, and Michael Mann said no.
Whoa, okay.
Michael Mann stopped them because he was like, no,
Not proud of it.
Yeah.
Well, I thought Manhunter was fantastic. I love the aesthetic. It's giving American Psycho. It's giving Miami Vice. It's like chic, yuppie 80s minimalism.
Yeah.
I was really into it. I thought that Brian Cox was a fabulous Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, he's really good.
Tom Noonan always, always
Tom
a treat.
Noonan's so scary. As the Great Red Dragon himself, Francis Dollarhide. William Peterson is really good as Will Graham, the lead. I always think of William Peterson's era in Friedkin's To Live and Die in L.A., which is a similar like 80s like pastel palette synth pumping kind of like cop thriller. I really love how Manhunter has no interest in scaring you.
It really doesn't. It's even all vibes.
It's all vibes. It's all like a postmodern, like cool cop thriller. And like so much so that everyone is like equally stylish. Everyone lives in a chic house. Everyone dresses like in like pastel turquoise with like knit ties, even like the sleazy reporter, even the killer lives in an outrageously chic house for no reason.
None of these people have any right to be as chic as they are based on what their jobs and socioeconomic statuses are, but I'm here for it. I love it.
It also has a really weird supporting cast, like Chris Elliott.
I was like, so weird.
Chris Elliott and also Bulldog from Frasier are both like FBI analysts at a table in one scene. And you're like, what's going on?
Yeah, I really liked it a lot.
It's very fun. I highly recommend it. I will also say, from my perspective of the world, it has such a weird fucking poster. The original poster from Manhunter is like divided in 3 with like diagonal slashes, and the top is like a photo of William Peterson, like kind of close up, but it's like super blown the fuck out. It's like grungy 80s, like high contrast photography. This kind of shit that I do, with like this like weird, like orange and teal airbrushing on it. And then there's like a little like blood line underneath it. And then a tiny little silhouette of him going through a door with a flashlight. And then it's this very like kind of cartoony title design at the bottom. It's funky. It's very, very funky. And I like really love it. I think it's super, super cool. I also love the songs in that movie so much. There's a lot of original songs written for it.
Yeah, those like, pop, sort of, for lack of a better word, pop songs are really great. I was like, these are fucking cool.
They're really fucking... They're like, I Can Feel Your Heartbeat. Heartbeat. Listen to the heartbeat. So great.
Kind of reminded me of Leonard Cohen's 80s era when he was really cynical and nihilistic. Like that song Everybody Knows, or The Future, which is the song at the opening of Natural Born Killers. Like he had some really mean-spirited 80s songs, and it kind of was giving that.
I love Leonard Cohen. Manhunter is super, super, super fun. I'm glad you watched it.
Yeah, I really liked it a lot. And then the next night, I schlepped to Rick Caruso's The Grove and watched Longlegs, which I didn't know anything about. I had heard the buzz, and so I didn't know that it was going to be this type of movie again. So I was just like really on a tear with this sort of stuff. And I know that you saw it too. I liked it. Did you like it?
I saw it at Rick Caruso's Americana. I really liked it. I had a hoot and a half with Longlegs. I thought it was like really properly like icky, scary.
Scared me. It really did scare me.
I love like a serial killer thriller narrative, and it delivered on that while also delivering on like some kind of like Exorcist 3, like Twin Peaks The Return kind of supernatural shit that I was very into. A major reveal towards the end is super deeply fucked up, and I'm still thinking about like the implications of it. Have you seen any of Osgood Perkins's movies?
Yeah, I saw The Black Coat's Daughter, and that's the only one, which I really liked. And actually, that's the movie. That's the reason Kiernan Shipka got the job of being Sabrina, because the showrunner of Sabrina had seen that and really liked it and met with her.
Yeah, and it's also the reason why Kiernan Shipka is in Longlegs.
And fabulous in it. I mean, she's such a good actor.
Incredible in this.
She's so good.
That's one of the best scenes.
Yeah, I thought so too. Although it was weird that she had a hillbilly accent, but it takes place in Oregon. I don't know. I feel like maybe it's because she's possessed in some way or whatever, but
it's a choice. I liked it.
It is a choice. I liked it too.
Well, and why is her last name Camera?
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
At the camera farm.
The camera farm. Lucky winner of the church, whatever. The character Longlegs, played by Nicholas Cage, really scares the life out of me, even though there is like a campy element to it as well. I don't like it. It really gets under my skin.
Me too.
I do not like it.
Ooh, it's the almost birthday girl. He's like, he's kind of like, there's some Tiny Tim to him in a way that like,
oh my God, you're so right.
Me.
You're so right. There's some Tiny Tim. There's some Bob from Twin Peaks, who is the last person that I felt like, get this person off of my screen. I don't like him. Deeply under my skin. He's also like a lot like, what's the actor from Lost Highway?
Robert Blake.
Bald Robert Blake in Lost Highway. Just like a very unsettling presence.
Yeah. And the movie, like, it's Nicholas Cage doing this too, and he's like, totally unrecognizable, but he's still giving a Nicholas Cage performance of this kind of character. So you're gonna get like, there's like sing-song moments. He's doing some crazy stuff physically.
Wild choices.
We also get some very Nicholas Cage screams at a few points, which are like really satisfying. And I was really worried while watching it, while feeling the dread of the movie and of this character, that I was like, oh no, is this theater going to laugh at Nicolas Cage yelling in a car? But like everyone was like equally like freaked the fuck out the whole movie, that it cast such a spell that we were all like properly locked in. I thought it was wonderful. There's an interrogation scene with Nicolas Cage that's deeply fucking scary and disturbing. I thought it was really, really, really good. I also like, I love the sound design. The sound design feels like 1980s, 90s movie sound design.
The aesthetic of it is so good in general. I loved the title cards even. I loved that it changed what's the word I'm looking for? Square to aspect ratio. Thank you.
The like contemporary aspect ratio is so insanely wide too. It's like wider than most. It's like other than like 60s like Panavision stuff. It's like so fucking wide that you're constantly like looking at your periphery the whole time, and there's shit in there frequently.
I did have a couple of like, first of all of my friends hated it except for me. I was the only one who really liked it. And I almost hesitate to say this, but because I love this person, I have loved her in other things, but what's her name? Is it Micah or
Micah Monroe?
I think she's miscast here. I don't think that she carries this movie. That's my personal opinion.
I thought she was very good. I mean, she's very stiff. She's very kind of like expressionless and controlled for the majority of the movie, and that I find unsettling, especially when like they're like, these bodies have been here for a month and a half, are you okay if you want to see it? And she's just like, okay. It's very, very upsetting to me, but then it also like it is a narrative choice, I think. Very strong.
Well, part of it for me, I think, is because I couldn't help but compare it to Silence of the Lambs and Jodie Foster, who, like won an Oscar and is so incredible. And I don't know. I just didn't feel like it had the same depth as that performance But I've always loved her in movies, so I
Yeah.
don't know. I wasn't sure about her here.
I thought she was very good. There's like a roiling, troubled undercurrent to her, kind of the whole movie, that she keeps like a very fragile mask on, that I thought was very good.
And I do recognize it is hard to play a character that is so reserved with, you know what I mean? So quiet, so reserved. It's difficult. So, you know, it could just be me and what I brought to the experience. There's a character I loved, which I tweeted about on our account. That's like sort of that is getting a lot of interaction. Where my favorite character was the gay guy who runs the asylum. It's like totally incompetent.
I was
like,
say,
representation matters.
Yeah, gay guys who are bad at their jobs.
Yeah,
there's a lot of like genuine laughs in this movie. This movie it is like an oppressively like weird fucked up thriller, but like he knows how to let the air out of the balloon intentionally to like keep you going. And one of the best ones is with him. They're like, do you check IDs for people that come to visit? And he just like leans back and goes, that's a good idea.
Representation and confident gay men who run asylums. Our time has come. I loved that.
He was great. I thought Kiernan Shipka was incredible. Blair Underwood is deeply underrated.
And Alicia Witt.
Alicia Witt.
Holy shit, she was great. I haven't seen her in years, by the way. I was like, is that Alicia Witt?
She was in Twin Peaks: The Return a few years ago, but
I didn't watch it.
It's been a minute. I feel like she's been doing a lot of TV work. You didn't watch Twin Peaks: The Return?
I know. I didn't.
Joshua.
I know. It's crazy. It's insane that I didn't watch it. It's insane.
What?
You're like, let's end this podcast.
Okay.
Last episode.
So there was a debate as to whether or not Twin Peaks: The Return was a miniseries or just a long movie. Maybe we just do it as an episode.
Oh, maybe we do. That's a good idea.
Maybe we do like an 18-part series on Twin Peaks: The Return.
I think maybe we just do one episode. But it's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea.
I really enjoyed Longlegs.
I really enjoyed Longlegs. It's still the opening, as of recording this, it's still the opening weekend of it. And for the most part, it's getting very good reviews. It's getting really good reviews. I've only just now started to see a few friends and like just like bystanders give it negative reviews. And I feel like both the success, well, I should also say this movie was produced independently. Neon purchased it for like $10 million. And again, like money and budgets and stuff is not the like mark of success of a movie. But we're not even at the end of the opening weekend yet, and it's already made over $20 million.
Yeah, my theater was packed.
Which is huge. And a lot of that is almost all of that is the marketing. It's had a
really incredible marketing.
Incredible cryptic marketing campaign. Neon knows exactly what to do with this.
There hasn't been a horror marketing campaign like this, I don't think, since like Cloverfield or Blair Witch before that. It feels like that. It feels like a landmark.
It's very smart for this kind of movie because it's in like teasing a mystery and it's inviting people to like interact with it, which I think is very, very, very smart. Though I am seeing people only interact with the marketing as if the marketing is telling you this is the most fucked up movie you'll ever see, and they're leaving it being like, it wasn't that weird. And I'm like,
it's pretty weird.
It's pretty weird, but also B, like, the level of weirdness is not the importance of the movie. You should maybe try to engage with what the movie is doing.
Yeah.
I've also seen people be like, wait, like, who just seen all the marketing, had no idea what the movie was other than what like the like weirdo posters and marketing have been saying, and then are giving it like a half star and being like, oh boo, propaganda, this is like Criminal Minds. And I'm like, what the fuck are you on?
Out of her. Come on, that's so sanctimonious and tedious. I can't stand that sort of shit. Like, leave that in the 2010s. That's the energy that's bringing. But I do have two things to say about this movie in regards to the larger horror genre right now. One, watching the trailers for horror movies before this and then this movie felt, not in a bad way, like a creepypasta to me a little bit.
Yeah.
And a lot of the trailers had the aesthetics of like creepypastas. And I wondered broadly if like now that Gen Z are becoming adults and starting to make movies and have their influence in the world, are we going to get more of this for like the next 10 years, like sort of creepypasta inspired horror movies, which I don't have any kind of feeling about, negative or positive. It was just an observation.
I mean, it's possible, but I would also say that Osgood Perkins is like older than you.
He's in his he's like 50, right?
Yeah.
It's still, I don't know, it just still feels like a creepypasta. It feels like Slender Man to me. And I say that in a value neutral way.
In
but
a
like
way. The Marble Hornets kind of like YouTube era.
Yeah. And then the trailer for the AI house thing from Blumhouse, which looks terrible to me.
It's called Afraid, and then the A and I in Afraid are like slanted. That looks like a Disney Channel original movie.
Well, the faces of them looked like creepypastas to me. I don't know. It was just the thing. And then number 2, I hope I'm wrong about this, but the horror community, I should say horror fandom. I hate saying community because it's not a community, it's a business. The horror fandom has been really celebrating Nicolas Cage for the past few years, which is great. I have a little bit of a spidey sense, and hopefully I'm wrong, that there's going to be a turn, that there's going to be a backlash where people start openly talking about how much they don't like Nicolas Cage and that he's a bad actor.
Oh no.
What do you think about that? Do you think that could happen?
I don't think that could happen. We already lived through that for like 10, 15 years in the mid 2000s. After like the peak of the National Treasure movies and whatever he was up to at that time, there was a long debate of like of like early YouTube like compilations of Nicolas Cage freakouts and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
And then like episodes of TV shows like Community, like having whole episodes based around Nicolas Cage is a bad actor, and you're like, but he has an Oscar. What does that mean? Like, lame, uninterested. And then Mandy kind of like brought him into the genre fold in earnest, and he's been doing a lot more in that space. He's frequently like on record as being a fan of independent films, and of, you know, silent film acting and of like melodramatic genre acting. So I think he makes so much sense in this genre space. I haven't seen a negative word about his performance in Longlegs. I don't know. I think that, listen, the people who make up the horror fandom like idolize Joe Spinell. Like, so I think we're fine. I think Cage has had like a safe haven in this genre space the whole time, and I don't think that's going away. I think it's just gotten more of a spotlight on it because he's doing more work in that space, and of course, like, he shows up to Beyond Fest every year. It's like a whole thing.
I know. I did notice that he produced this movie in the credits, which is cool. He's such a wild actor, I guess, is the thing. He makes outrageous choices. So if I were a filmmaker, if I needed an actor to do a very specific thing, I would not hire Nicolas Cage. I would only hire him if it's like if I wanted to have his outrageousness and his, you know, like the way that he improvises everything and just makes weird choices all the time, which worked really well for this movie. But if I were like if I was making a movie about Teddy Roosevelt or something, I wouldn't cast Nicolas Cage. You know what I mean? Because he's not going to do that.
His quote nouveau shamanic process.
Exactly.
I don't know. I think his casting in Longlegs is inspired. I would like to see him do more like character work like this, and I would like to see more people like. I feel like a lot of the time he's been kind of pigeonholed into like either being like toned down gruff action hero guys, which is like, you know, Con Air, The Rock to a degree, and Mandy kind of fall into that category. That Sean Sono movie he did falls into that. And then the other side is that people cast him for Nicolas Cage. You're going to get a Cage performance. He's going to go full tilt Cage on you. Like, it's going to be Cage rage. And I feel like Longlegs is like, he literally is doing everything to fall into this character, and it's impossible to see Nicolas Cage.
I agree that it's impossible to see Nicolas Cage, but I think he creates the character with his outrageous choices. Like, I think the character on the page could be any number of things interpreted in different ways by different actors. I think that he created this character through his outrageous choices.
Yeah, but what I was trying to get at, I guess, was that he's kind of had that like John Wayne syndrome, where like you show up to a Nicolas Cage movie and you can only see Nicolas Cage, not the character, for such a long time. Which is why that movie about him, Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, for me worked because it's him playing him and an absurdist thing about him. But this is one of the first times in a long time, since like the 90s, I think, where I've seen him so far into a character that I'm very into it. And his process only heightens the way in which it feels like this character. I feel like that works in Moonstruck to a degree, because that is a very large, loud performance in Moonstruck that people don't see as being a very large, loud performance. I don't know.
I just saw for the first time, like last year, the movie Vampire's Kiss that he stars in. Yeah. Which was, I think, a big bomb, and people really made a lot of fun of it. But I think he's excellent in it.
People were making fun of it my entire like childhood, and like my adolescence. Like, people would like hang out on a Friday night and watch a YouTube clip from Vampire's Kiss of him reciting the alphabet.
Yeah,
as like a fun thing to do.
I mean, I don't know though. His Oscar, I think, is for Leaving Las Vegas, right?
It is.
Have you seen that recently?
I haven't seen it. I have not seen Leaving Las Vegas since I was probably middle school, because my father was rewatching it obsessively through their divorce.
So I watched it when I got sober this time in 2020, and I hated it. I thought it was a bad movie.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I really didn't like it at all. Not because of him. I just didn't think the movie was very good.
That's fair. It's a very it's a slog of a movie. It's kind of there's some fun in the beginning, but it's pretty oppressively bleak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
but fun, oppressively bleak is Longlegs.
Yeah, totally agree. I'm very curious to discuss the movie we are going to be talking about today. This is a movie I picked. I've seen it once before this 20 years ago, and I picked it kind of knowing that you don't like this filmmaker. So I might be setting myself up for pain here. We are discussing from legendary art house filmmaker Alejandro Jodorosky from 1989, Santa Sangre. So I had seen this once before, as I mentioned, 20 years ago. I had a very different experience watching it now. I watched it with friend of the show, Christian Tucci, who's been a guest a couple of times. He had never seen it or heard of it. I had a funny experience, which is like everything that I remembered from 20 years ago is in the first part of the movie, like the first act. And I didn't remember anything after that. What was your experience of this? Where are you headline-wise?
Very much two movies rammed into each other at high speed.
Yeah.
Which is my biggest takeaway for the movie. And I feel like unless you're like a Hodo head, you're either gonna like respond more to one or the other. And I gonna be honest, it was more the second half for me. It was more interesting.
Really?
But the second half was more interesting, but the second half was also pissed me off more.
I've had the opposite experience. I thought the first half is so beautiful and hypnotic and special. And then I like the second half too, but I like it less. And I feel like it kind of gives off early 90s full moon video energy. Like you could
it's
like an artier version of like the Puppet Master movies or something. You know?
Yeah.
Which is fine.
The second half to me felt like kind of a throwback to a lot of the like 1930s like melodramatic pre-code horror movies that I like, like Mad Love with Peter Lorre, or like The Unknown with Lon Chaney.
I see that.
There's a lot of that in there, that, or like, you know, that's like 60s Curtis Harrington movies, and I was like, oh, that's like fun and interesting. And then it gets bloated. That section gets bloated by some really unpleasant shit. But the first half of the movie, Jodorowsky like has, for me, I'm not a big fan. I've seen El Topo, and I've seen clips and bits of The Holy Mountain, but I haven't seen it in full. He's frequently compared to Buñuel.
Yes, who's your guy? You love Buñuel.
Who's my guy? But I think only because he is a Spanish language surrealist. I think that's where their comparisons stop.
Sure.
I don't think their filmic language, or even the way they use the art for the like artistic style of surrealism, similarly, even a little bit. He's far closer to like Fellini. He is like much, much, much more in line with Fellini. And the first half of this movie really just felt like I'm watching Jodorowsky's remake of Amarcord.
Interesting. I've never seen Amarcord, so yeah, that's my shortcoming. I think the first half of this is so beautiful, and it just like I said, it's the only thing I remembered about the movie. Yeah, I think we should. I mean, look, if you look at the Letterboxd for this movie, it's like all 4 and 5 stars down the line. So I think if we don't love this movie, which I don't think either of us really do at the end of the day, we're setting ourselves up to take jabs. Yeah, that's all I'll say. I like this
knives
movie
at us.
I do really like this movie, though, I will say.
You seem to really like this movie. You texted me the other day and we were like, I just rewatched the Sangre and I really liked it. Now I'm scared.
Yeah, because I feel like it's going to be a repeat of Baby Blood, where you just lash into me for an hour for making you watch a movie that you hated.
Oh my God, that's not what happened with Baby Blood. But also, this is better than Baby Blood. This is like leaps and bounds better than Baby Blood.
Yeah.
First of all, I feel like my issues with it are my issues with all Jodorowsky stuff, even though there are more granular issues that we can get into later about it, that are not present in El Topo and other stuff, if my memory serves. It's been a long time since I've even touched his like body of work, because I just don't like him, and I don't like his work. I find him kind of like smug and abrasive, and his movies feel smug and abrasive. And there's a bit of that here, but there's also a bit of this movie feels like a lot of him like trying on different hats. And I feel like the Fellini-esque carnival sequence of the first half feels the most comfortable for him. And kind of, from my understanding, the movies he's made since are more similar to that.
I kind of forgot until I was reading up on him before recording that he's really a theater guy. I mean, he's a playwright and theater director, and had kind of given up on making films before this came out. It was based on Holy Mountain that the people who conceived this came to him. So it had been a long time since he had directed something, and he didn't seem to have any plans to direct films until he was asked to direct this. I guess I can talk about the synopsis, such as it is. We open in a mental institution of some sort, and there's a man named Phoenix who has kind of gone nonverbal and is sitting up in a tree like a bird of prey. And the people who work in this institution come in and try to lure him down with raw fish. And basically, a lot of it is a memory. So we go back in time to his childhood. He is a child magician, rather, in a circus. His father, Orgo, is the ringmaster. His mother, Concha, is an aerialist, but she's also the cult leader of this like Catholic cult that worships a local armless saint. And there's like a tragic backstory for her. There's a lot of tension between this mother and father because of the tattooed lady who the father's having an affair with. And basically it all ends in violence. And we think that both parents are killed. And we cut to the present where adult Phoenix, this is where it gets a little unclear. He seems to be in this institution. The actors around him are all people with Down syndrome. And so I'm not sure if it's like a house for the developmentally disabled or if it's like a mental institution or if it's just something vague. But basically he reconnects with his mother who's still alive and armless. And she's like in a show, like a kind of cabaret show, and he has to be her arms. And essentially she forces him to murder women with his arms, but her body. So I'm struggling to talk about it because it's so weird. And it kind of all goes from there.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you're forgetting an important character that was like his childhood love interest, who's a mute, deaf orphan.
Yes. And sort of adopted by the tattooed woman.
Mm-hmm. Who, upon the death of Phoenix's father in his childhood, the tattooed woman ran away from the circus with the mute girl in tow. And in the present, she is being kind of sexually abused by the tattooed woman and her clientele until she suddenly dies in a very, like, this movie is produced by Claudio Argento, can you tell, set piece.
Yeah.
And then she kind of goes on a search for Phoenix, and when they come together, he will discover something else about himself. But there's also a handful of other things going on with him that we get like one scene of here and there, and they kind of then don't connect again. Like, he's obsessed with the Invisible Man, and he plays cosplay dress up as the Invisible Man, and like cooks and devises little potions for himself to try and make himself invisible, and it doesn't work. And he has one scene of that, and it's like, okay.
One thing I didn't realize until I was reading the wiki is that both Phoenixes, the adult one and the child, are Jodorosky's real life sons.
Yes. The like contemporary modern day one, Axel Jodorowsky, to me is very easy to tell because it looks he looks exactly like Alejandro Jodorowsky.
Yeah, and so does the now grown up child.
Yeah,
you know, if you look at him in 2024, he looks exactly the same.
Which this is not a first for Jodorowsky. Jodorowsky himself is the lead of El Topo, and one of his sons plays the young version of El Topo in the movie as well. To which apparently traumatized that son, and he like had to have like a weird like come to Jesus apology with him years later.
Yeah. Do you know what I remembered most from this movie is the elephant stuff?
The elephant, yeah. Which kind of upset me a little bit.
Well, I hope it's fake. I hope they didn't like abuse an animal.
No, it is fake, but it's still like you made an elephant snort a bunch of paint?
Oh, yeah, I guess.
And that feels weird.
I guess so. I didn't think of it. That's the truth. But the circus does have an elephant that's dying. And so what I remembered was everyone kind of holding vigil around this elephant and it passing away, and then them putting it in a giant casket and then dumping it off a cliff, and then all these people covered in dirt like tear it apart and eat it. I was like, this feels like a nightmare, but also sort of beautiful.
That was like the primo like peak Fellini moment for me, where I was like, that's the most like, we're gonna have a like town funeral procession of carnival performers with a gigantic casket on the back of a flatbed of an elephant inside of it. That's like, that's more Fellini than anything Fellini has put in a Fellini movie.
God, I have to watch Amarcord. It sounds like I would love it.
You should. Amarcord is literally just like reminiscences of a childhood and that perspective. So it's basically the first half of this movie for 2.5 hours.
That sounds good to me. I love the first half of this.
Like teenage boys frolicking around a beach with a very overweight woman because they want to fuck her. Like, it's like, it's that kind of shit. It's very Fellini.
Do you know what this movie made me think of? Weirdly, it's a much stupider comparison, I guess, than Omnicord. Beau is Afraid, I thought of, because it's both about overbearing mothers and they're both really arty. And similarly, my experience of this, as with Beau is Afraid, is that I loved it in the beginning and liked it less and less as it went on. And I like both of these movies, but that was my experience.
Yeah, that's fair. I had a really hard time checking in for the first half. And I don't really dig on coming of age movies. I have a hard time connecting with like reminiscences of a childhood kind of movies, like Days of Heaven and stuff like that's not really my bag.
Not even like 400 Blows, or
I find 400 Blows kind of grating and annoying.
Oh wow, okay.
It's far from my favorite Truffaut. I'm much more a shoot the piano player day for night girly. I mean, like, I like Boyhood, but I only because Boyhood is very specifically the exact years of my childhood. Like, literally. That one I find impactful, but a lot of other ones feel twee and kind of like self-serving in a way that I have a hard time connecting with. And this was kind of that for me, but mixed in with kind of that kind of heavy-handed Jodorosky surrealism. And I do love a carnival set movie. Like, I love Freaks, a huge fan of Freaks. I love the original Nightmare Alley so much. We should do Freaks eventually, by the way.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we should. I love that movie.
Del Toro's Nightmare Alley is also fun, but I like
I really liked
old one more. And so there's a lot to say about Carnival Life, which is very fun. I think the clowns in this movie are delightful. That was my favorite aspect of the first half of this movie.
Oh my god.
The way
I'm
they
so glad you brought that up.
Kid.
So when people talk about being afraid of clowns, to me that is cringe. It feels like saying like, "Oh, I hate the word moist" or whatever. It's like, "Do you really?" Or is this like you're trying to have a personality? That said, these clowns scare me so much. These clowns really scare me and get under my skin. I mean, they're very sweet, but at the same time, you can just tell that they're like old alcoholics.
Yes, they are.
They really got under my skin and creeped me out.
I liked and appreciated the fact that, like, it's very evident that this kid doesn't have a family, despite the fact that he has a mother and father, because they are on the run in Mexico, because his father, who's American, played by Dean Stockwell's brother, by the way.
Oh, interesting.
He's on the run because he's a knife thrower and he apparently killed a woman in America. So they're down in Mexico. And his mother is the leader of a local cult that is trying to be run out of town by the authorities and the Catholic Church. And so he's very much like lost and forgotten between the two of them. And he's kind of raised by the carnival workers, who are the only ones that like show him any level of like love, care, and respect. And that I really liked and appreciated. And it's kind of implied later on that he kind of has that camaraderie with the people with Down syndrome that he lives with. But that's also kind of shortly lived after like I can't tell if it's supposed to be comedic bit of them all doing cocaine together.
I know, that was such a strange segment. And then going to see a sex worker together.
Yeah. And then we never see them ever again.
I know, so weird.
It's very odd. And there's a few things in this movie like that get brought up and dropped that just feel like okay, because from the credits, it seems that it was written by Claudio Argento, who, for listeners that don't know, is the brother of Dario Argento, and produced many of his films. And their father was also a big producer. This is like one of the only films that he has either written or produced that is not directed by his brother.
Yeah.
And also co-written by Roberto Leone, and then written on top of that by Jodorowsky. And directed by Jodorowsky. So it really feels like it feels like there are moments where the movie stops because Jodorowsky, like, you can kind of feel like the revised pages, like I can feel the like color of the script pages changing while watching this movie occasionally. And that whole aspect is one of them. I feel the murder of the tattooed woman feels like a Leone Argento
straight out of
page.
Argento. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I thought it was great. I thought that was a great scene.
It's a great scene, and it's shot like an Argento movie. It feels nothing else like anything else in this movie or anything else by Jodorowsky. It's very odd. And then the mother's kind of like church cult and beliefs get dropped until almost the very end of the movie, which is interesting.
I loved all of that stuff, by the way, so much.
Yeah, that set piece at the beginning is super cool.
I mean, I love mysticism and weird Catholicism offshoots, and I love the idea of this local saint that's like sort of not official by way of the Catholic Church, and like I was really into all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of like one of the more interesting things about it is that there's a lot of like rural local saints in South America and in Spain and stuff like that. That are like Luis Buñuel always talks about one in his hometown about a woman who had her leg amputated or whatever, and then years later it grew back just one morning and she had a leg again, and she was a saint and she was sainted. Like that image has been brought up and brought back in a lot of his movies because he kind of became fetishized and obsessed with that as a child. And so that's very, very, very interesting here. How it connects and relates into the carnival atmosphere and his childhood is odd and interesting. It definitely informs the latter half of the movie. And the kind of like megalomaniacal abusive relationship that his mother has. His mother, by the way, is played by Blanca Guerra, who is incredible. Mexican actress.
Wonderful. She's great in this.
The best person in this movie, but she is the lead opposite Ed Harris in the Alex Cox movie Walker.
Ooh, I haven't seen that in ages.
Which is so fucking good. It's one of my favorite movies. She's so good in that. And she's very, very... I think she's the best performer in this movie. I think she's absolutely like... She knows what movie she's in and she's playing it to the hilt. Like I said, I really like the kind of psychodrama pre-code, like, oh, my hands are not my own kind of like aspect of the second half where he's like playing Mad Doctor and performing in the like magician cabaret with her, and like all of that comes back in kind of a like heady, pulpy way. I think all of that's very fun. We then, though, get into some weird ishy stuff in that segment.
Yeah. So I don't even remember. I know what character you're talking about, but I don't even remember how he meets her and why he brings her home. I guess because he wants to fuck her, right?
So the entire time, anytime a woman hits on him, he then is commanded by his mother to murder her.
To murder them. It's like Psycho kind of in that regard.
Very much so. And like one of honestly the best scene to me in this movie was when they play piano together, because like I don't think Axel Jodorowsky is a very good actor, and I think he's actively struggling with this role a lot of the movie. Except when they're doing the hand stuff.
Yes, his physical work is exceptional because you completely forget he's there and they look like her hands. It's sort of crazy.
Yeah. And the piano set piece is great. It's very clearly like, also Jodorowsky used to be a mime. He like studied as a mime in France in like the 50s.
That makes sense.
So that's the best shit in this movie for me.
Yeah.
By like a wide swath. Whenever he's not with his mother, I feel like he's like trying really hard to like act with his face. That doesn't work. So all of that's been going on, and he's been playing Invisible Man, and he needs to go down to the local apothecary to get more Invisible Man medicines, which is kind of like an apothecary truck, but it's got a little like kind of wood carved staircase up the back, which is really kind of adorable.
Mm-hmm.
And while he's there, a passing truck drives past advertising a luchador fight of like the strongest woman in the world. And you can tell he's aroused by her because a giant snake pops out of his pants, which he then has to wrestle with.
Yeah. So not subtle. So he meets this woman and flirts with her, and I guess we should describe this character. This, I presume, is meant to be a cisgender woman, but she's incredibly buff, and she is played by what I presume is a cisgender male bodybuilder. So it's sort of like that old really transphobic Jim Carrey character from In Living Color, where it was like he was a female bodybuilder and he was like in a bikini with his muscle. You know what I mean? It feels like that. It feels like a joke.
Yeah. And then the character is dubbed by a cisgender woman on top of that.
Right.
And the character also kind of emulates his father's behavior, is an alcoholic, is, you know, like physically dominant to him, is kind of like a bit handsy and a bit more physical with him than anyone else he's been with. Both physical in like a sexual meaning and physical in like a kind of violent meaning, both intentionally and unintentionally. And it's very much like, you know, controversial Jodorosky. I'm going to put fake tits on a muscle man because that's what beefy women look like. And it's like, first of all, no.
Yeah.
First of all, not even a little bit. I'm so beyond bored, tired, and annoyed by this like very weak heteronormative concept of muscular, strong women are inherently masculine and therefore unattractive. It's like deeply annoying to me. It is like in the same. It reminds me so much of the way that like J.K. Rowling and all of her crazy online transphobic turfs are like always like decrying, like, you can tell a trans woman by, if you look at the photos, you can tell like this and this and this about her. You can tell it's all wrong. And they're like try to get people canceled for being secretly trans. Half of the time are cisgender women, and they've tried to get like athletes expelled from like sports teams claiming that they're secretly trans, and they're like just fucking cisgender women. Like,
well, TERFs are the lowest common denominator. I don't know what is going on Turf Island, aka England. But first of all, that's not true. Second of all, why should a trans person have to pass as cisgender? Why is that the metric by which?
Exactly.
Like, why is that the measure of whether or not a person deserves to live their life in peace and quiet? Do you know what I mean? It's so strange to me. It's so unkind. It's so small-minded. Of course, I mean, I'm not saying anything new. Though I will say the only time I've been attacked en masse in any online space is by TERFs, and I'm not even a trans person. But it's like one time it's because I watched and tweeted about the movie Angel from the 80s and how much I loved it, and all these people, like thousands of people, attacked me for being a quote pedophile. And as soon as I started looking into who these people were, no surprise, they were all TERFs.
Yeah.
Like that's like their whole online identity. I've had it with TERFs. If I were a guest on the podcast, I've had it. That would be my one.
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate casting decision in a lot of ways. It's really grating and really annoying. And you've come to find out that the only reason he's interested in this person is because he thinks that she can beat him off him, because mother's gonna make me kill her anyway. If I have a sexual attraction to anyone, mother's gonna make me kill her. So she can break my arms and then I won't have to kill her, and that'll work out. So like it's exclusively because she can beat him up. But then on top of that, gender variance in this movie is either murdered, she is murdered, or it's in the process of being his mother's hands, he has to dress in the same outfit as his mother around the house all day long. And he has to have his nails like with like her long red extensions all the time. And so you'll see the murders happen literally Norman Bates style, where you only see a hand and some like long cunty fingernails with it. So it's what's like either like, oh, the like super muscle woman that's like she's too manly to be a woman, so we're gonna get a man to play her, will get murdered. And the man who's so frail and weak and effeminate because he has mommy issues and his dad died, will go around murdering people with in drag and with it's really, it's like trying to get at a like gender binary like Freudian analysis about like the effect of parents on and childhood trauma on people's identities, and it's like outrageously clumsy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to speak on your behalf, but I think in general, you and I are both people who like a lot of old movies, and sometimes those old movies can be transphobic or racist or homophobic or
there is
or
also
sexist.
a lot of blackface in this movie too.
That's true too. I forget about that.
There's a lot of blackface.
Some of those movies, you know, there is a way that you can be like, this has aged poorly, and I also love this movie because of the following reasons.
Oh, absolutely.
I think you can tell, and sometimes we pretend like we can't tell this, but we can, I think, if you're smart. You can tell when that misguided moment or whatever it is intentionally cruel or not. You know, like I would say a movie that's famously thought of as transphobic, and I would argue it is transphobic, is Dressed to Kill, which is a movie that we both love. However, I think it's transphobic because it's aged poorly, not because Brian De Palma had, you know, mean-spirited intentions towards trans people.
Yes. The things that's transphobic about Dressed to Kill is the way that the imagery of the movie has aged, not that Brian De Palma himself is transphobic.
Yeah. Whereas this feels mean-spirited to me.
Yes. It strongly actively feels mean-spirited to me. And so this is, I feel like, a good jumping off point into the thing that is the most controversial about Alejandro Jodorowsky circa 2024, which is that a few years ago, like 5 or 6 years ago, people dug up, well, first of all, before that even, people online got very frustrated there was a documentary about
Jodorowsky's
Dune, his unmade adaptation of Frank Herbert's Dune, at which
really interesting documentary.
A very interesting documentary. However, in it, he describes the process of film adaptation as a rape, and that in the process of adaptation, you have to not care about the feelings of the author and do your own thing and make love together without their consent, and said that I raped Frank Herbert with love. And it's like, everyone was like, that's a weird thing to fucking say.
That's super weird.
And it had people like go back, and someone like found a book he wrote on the making of El Topo, at which there is a famous rape scene in El Topo, which narratively within the movie is like showing El Topo's power to make a woman no longer frigid, which like that's fucking gross. But in the book, Jodorowsky claims that he actually raped the woman on set.
Whoa.
Super fucked and super gross. And there's a long passage about the process of that and everything about it and the reasoning behind it and why he thinks it's so great and why it's important for men and why it's important for film. Obviously that like blew the fuck up and was outrageously controversial. He's since has stated, no, of course I didn't rape that woman on set. There was like a whole fucking crew around me of like Mexican men who would have beat me with an inch of my life if I tried to do that. He was like, but I was like, you know, an independent film from Mexico in like the late 60s, early 70s. No one was ever going to take my shit seriously. So like, I thought it would be like a cool surrealist provocation to say that I did that so that people would take notice and come see my movie. And they did. And John Lennon was a huge fan of it and got people to go see it. And so like, either way you cut it, like, that's shitty. Like,
yeah,
he more than likely, it seems, did not assault a woman to make a movie, but he does, like, the movie does kind of have a weird take on rape itself, and he has, like, right before that, right before kind of walking that back, he was still kind of very flagrantly and flippantly using rape as a quote-unquote provocation in a way that people find really upsetting. And I think that's fair, and I think that kind of tenor is in a lot of his work, and I feel like that is part of the aspect of the like gender conversation that he's bringing up in Santa Sangre that I don't like. Because it feels mean-spirited in that way. It feels very flippant in a way that's like he's poking you while you're watching the movie, being like, wow, isn't that, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? And you're like, shut up.
I don't actually feel that watching this movie. This is the only movie by him that I've seen. I don't feel that. I do understand it when I hear you say it. And I also think this is not, I don't know. I don't want to defend the horrible things that he said, but I guess I am, because he is of a different generation, and there was like a sort of celebration of the male art monster for a long time, for decades, but both in literature and in film. And I feel like society encouraged men to talk this way in a weird way. And so I don't excuse it, but I kind of understand it in the context of its time. And also, what I will say is I'm somewhat wary of when people get in trouble for things that they said or did a long, long time ago, because my first question is like, well, who dug this up and why?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So yeah, that's all assuming that he didn't actually sexually assault a woman on set, what I mean, which is truly horrible.
I will also say, though, I do think it's important to still revisit this movie and talk about this movie on this show in the same way that, like, we've covered Rosemary's Baby on this show. We have covered The Tenet on this show. Like, those that, like, Roman Polanski, a police department has found.
He's a monster. Yeah.
Is a fucking monster. Like, far and away. And we can't just make entire value judgments on whole pieces of art made by teams of people because of the actions of one person. That said, we can inform the reading of a piece of film by the statements and the personality of the, and
100%.
It's worth like keeping these works of art in conversation, both for the good and the bad. Like, we can't just bury it as if it never happened, because then we're never going to learn the fucking lesson of why the fuck did that happen.
And also, in spite of everything I just said, if you read that old quote by Jodorosky and you're like, that's enough for me to like not engage with this artist, that's completely valid too. To each their own. Everyone's entitled to their own feelings and opinions and lines in the sand. We all have them, and they're going to be different for each person. And I think that's 100% valid.
Yeah, a million percent. No one's ever going to make you, like, you don't have to watch Santa Sangre. You don't have to watch The Tenet. You don't have to watch Rosemary's Baby.
Totally. It's weird, people will always say like, "Oh, that's selective outrage," and it's like, of course it is. All outrage is selective. So for me, my favorite movie is Rosemary's Baby, which was made by a monster, and I'll watch Rosemary's Baby for the rest of my life. I once loved Harry Potter, and for me, J.K. Rowling is that's a line in the sand for me. I will never engage with her or her work ever again. My managers just tried to submit me for that Harry Potter TV show, and I was like, not only no, but hell no. And also, I'm going to be watching to see who does take that job because I want to know who those writers are. Do you know what I mean? That is absolutely selective outrage. And I think selective outrage is the most natural, normal thing in the world because it's all selective.
Well, also because like we are human beings. We all have different lives, different experiences, which will inform what sets us off, what we're interested by, what we're fascinated by, what we want to engage with, and what we don't want to engage with. And that's like one of the things I like about this show is that you and I both have very different responses to very different things in these movies, and we're both right.
Yeah. And wrong.
In equal measure all the time. The other day I was like, would it be nice to just like have like a book club, but it's movies? And I was like, wait, I do have that.
Yeah.
Oops.
Sure. Would you have anything else to say about this before we move on?
I think this movie's very interesting, and I would love to chop up parts of the back half and re-edit it and put it in black and white and make it feel like a 1930s movie, because I feel like that is awesome and magnificent. Also, one small thing, was the mom dead the whole time?
Yes, I think he was imagining that she was alive.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler. I think it's like Hatchet for the Honeymoon that has the same sort of thing, right? Like I thought of that movie too.
Because it's a very quick thing at the end as to whether or not, because I feel like he wanted to keep it like that or not, but then the clowns all fade away, as they always do.
They always do. Tears of a Clown. Let's play Have They Seen It, the game where we speculate wildly whether notable figures have seen this movie. Of course, I've already said, was thinking about clowns a lot. And I was like, why are we afraid of clowns when we used to love them? And I think the answer, I actually listened to a podcast about it called You're Wrong About. And it was
love that podcast.
Or maybe it was American Hysteria, another great podcast, one of the two of them. And apparently we all became afraid of clowns at the same time, which is like the 1-2 punch of John Wayne Gacy and then It, starring Tim Curry.
Yeah.
That's what kind of made Americans afraid of clowns. But I also think this is long-winded, but like, what are they supposed to be? Are they supposed to be like old, like 1910s tramps or something? Like, what are they even referencing? It's Uncanny Valley.
There are a lot of clowns that are like, hobo chic, that like the oversized pants that have the little like rough sack, whatever. My great grandmother was obsessed with clowns.
Oh my God.
The apartment she lived in was nothing but clowns.
Incredible.
Black velvet paintings, clown figurines, clown glasses, clown plates, clowns everywhere. And I was a child. I would be dropped off there with her and TCM and a Diet Coke. And that was like my Saturday.
Great childhood. Anyway, all of this is just to ask, has Tim Curry, star of the original It, seen this movie, Santa Sangre?
Yeah, I think he has. It's got a pretty prominent VHS release in like the 80s and 90s in the UK. He also, is no stranger to the horror film festivals, both film festivals and horror conventions as well. Where this movie really like gained its cult following. So yeah, I think I feel like he's seen it.
Me too.
I feel like Tim Curry would have like a lot of fun with this movie.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I love Tim Curry. I hope wherever Tim Curry is, he's having a good day. So many wonderful celebrities have passed away very recently.
I know.
And I'm always like girding myself against anything happening to either Tim Curry or John Waters.
I know those two are on my list of like most dreaded celebrity deaths.
Mel Brooks.
If we're keeping such a list,
yeah.
Cyndi Lauper for me is a major one. Like that one is going to really hurt me one day.
Yeah, Debbie Harry would hurt. Nick Jones would hurt. Anyway,
this is dark.
This is dark. I'm so sorry. I don't want to think about this. Anyway, okay. So, as we have learned from what we previously talked about, circus movies, there is a filmmaker who is wonderful and makes incredible Spanish language and English language films to this very day, and is like seemingly endlessly busy, is a huge cinephile, and also loves a carnival, and has made many, like his last 2 movies back to back were carnival related. Do you think that Guillermo Del Toro has seen Sangre? I mean, like, absolutely,
there's
right?
No way he hasn't seen this.
Yeah. First of all, I don't think there's a movie he hasn't seen.
True. True.
But like, this feels like something that like he probably definitely saw in theaters in '89.
Yeah. I think so too. I think so for sure. Wait, what is his nationality?
He's from Mexico.
He's Mexican, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if he was from somewhere else. Yeah, there's no way he hasn't seen this.
Yeah, a million.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
This person, I guess it's a 2-parter. Do you think they've seen it, and do you think they like it? Is the question I'm more interested in this case. This is a person who's top of mind for me because I'm so excited for their next film, and I saw the trailer before Longlegs. I'm talking about Nosferatu and Robert Eggers, my boyfriend. Do you think my boyfriend Robert Eggers has seen Santa Sangre, and do you think that he likes it if he's seen it?
I don't think he's seen it. I feel like Jodorosky kind of like has a big fan base in like a certain level of like horror art house, bro. There's a very specific Venn diagram that's more on the horror side of like cult film fans that are into Jodorosky. And I feel like for the most part, Robert Eggers is like mainlining Ingmar Bergman and like James Whale. Like, I feel like if he watches a movie in color, it's a rarity. Like,
yeah. Someone asked him if he ever was going to make a movie that wasn't a period piece, and he was straight up like, "No, I'm not interested in that." which I admire. I mean, I admire.
I deeply admire. I mean, like for instance, Ty West has just made 3 big period pieces, all of which are like playing with certain filmic languages of the time that they are set around. Pearl is kind of playing with a filmic language post the time it was made, but still, nonetheless.
Yeah.
What I love about Robert Eggers is that Robert Eggers' movies are movies about periods before cinema was invented.
Yeah, that's such a smart point.
But feel like they still capture the way stories were told at that time. I love that. I love his stuff so much. I'm so excited for Nosferatu.
I love Robert Eggers. Love him.
I don't think he's seen this. Do you think he has? Or if he has seen this, do you think he would like it?
I don't think he would like it.
Yeah, I feel
I don't know why.
It might be too lurid for him.
Maybe. He is a little bit chaste. He's a New Englander.
Yeah.
I have a question, though, about Jodorosky. Something you said made me wonder this. To me, it seems like maybe he is like a major flashpoint for boomers and Gen X in terms of auteurs. Maybe his reputation has somewhat diminished amongst millennials and Gen Z, and he's like not top of mind anymore. I wonder if that's true at all.
I think so. I mean, when I was in college, it was always like a handful of film professors and a few students that were like really into him. But it was always that like Venn diagram of like stoners who watch Adult Swim and spend a lot of time on Reddit that are really into, not to box in people that are fans of Jodorowsky, because that's not true at all, but that was my experience of like, these are the kind of people who like this movie. And for the most part, it seemed like the people that, like, if they wanted something a bit snootier would put on Herzog, and if they wanted something a bit trashier would put on Jodorowsky, but to them that was like equal plane.
Yeah.
And I also like was kind of shocked today because I was kind of like going back through his filmography. He only kind of has 3 noteworthy movies.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
he's
El
not
Topo,
really,
Holy Mountain, and this. He's made tons in between.
Yeah, but he's also somebody who does a lot of things. He's also a theater artist. He also did comic books. You know, he's got his hands in a lot of pies.
He's made 2 movies in the past 10 years.
Has he?
So I think 3 movies in the past 10 years. He made a documentary recently about his like shaman beliefs.
I wonder if they're any good.
Less than 1,000 ratings on IMDb.
Boy, you know, I will say when artists are like really into drugs and that's like a part of their, you know, process and also aesthetic and all of that stuff, generally I'm not really into that. And he's like a big psychedelics person. And so I feel like, wow, it must be fun to do acid, but I don't want to watch your acid trip necessarily. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. You know who Jodorowsky reminds me of? Is the another like 90s controversial like art house international filmmaker who kind of only has 2 or 3 movies, and also a famously failed big budget science fiction movie that there's a documentary about. Richard Stanley.
Yeah.
Very, very similar. Richard Stanley, who's kind of also has a complicated sexual history with women, but even more
Does
so.
He?
Even more so. Yeah.
I don't really know anything about him. I've always meant to see that documentary about Island of Dr. Moreau because I hear it's insane.
I've seen it a few times. My college made us watch it.
It's so funny.
It's a good one. It's fun.
I will say I'm one of the few people that saw that version of the Island of Dr. Moreau in the movie theater.
You and my girlfriend.
I was like, what's happening? What is this movie? Even as like in middle school when that came out, I was like, I don't know about this.
My girlfriend Ivory saw that one in theaters, or maybe on video at that time because she's a big Val Kilmer fan.
Yeah,
maybe anyway. Not the best. So this movie co-stars Blanca Guerra, who, as I mentioned, is in one of my favorite movies, Alex Cox's Walker. And one of the co-stars of Walker is also the composer of that movie, who also lived in Mexico for a number of years and, you know, was born in Turkey and like has lived many different lives before he passed away in the early 2000s. And is also the former frontman of the iconic 80s punk band The Clash. Do you think that Joe Strummer saw Santa Sangre?
I feel like yes. Although I will say I don't know how much older Joe Strummer is than me. I mean, significantly older, but I don't know if that's like 20 years older or 10 years older. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he passed away at the age of 50, and I want to say 2002, 2003.
Well, the reason I asked is because when I saw this movie, it was in 2004, which is when it got its DVD release, and it was also early. I think around the time of like early Netflix DVD rentals. And so I feel like that's how a lot of people around my age saw it for the first time. So I don't know how available it was before then is what I was getting at.
I know it had a VHS in the UK.
Okay.
So he definitely could have seen it that way. Or he could have seen it theatrically.
I feel like maybe he could have watched it with Alex Cox because Alex Cox is a huge movie person. He hosted a movie TV show
at the time. Yeah. In the mid 90s. Yeah.
Sort of like an art house USA Up All Night.
Yeah. It was called Moviedrome. I wonder if this played on Moviedrome. I could see that happening, but I could also see UK TV being like too much animal violence. It did not play on Moviedrome. The UK is very strict about animal violence. They're like really, really strict. They still
It's
are.
so funny. In some ways, it feels like they're the opposite of us. Like the observation about Americans is that we're okay with violence, but not sex. It feels like kind of the opposite there. Like they have tit photos in their daily newspaper. Like they have Page Six girls, which are literally like topless photos in their normal newspapers.
Yep.
So it's like the opposite of us in a funny way. I think so.
Yeah, I feel like there's a world in which he would have seen it. I feel like he would have liked it too.
Me too.
It may have been too much of a horror film for him though. I don't know if he ever got into horror. He probably would have been more of a Holy Mountain guy.
Maybe. I could also see a world where Holy Mountain is like too much hippie bullshit for him, because he was a punk.
Yeah, there's a really great interview with him from the 80s that I love. I think it was around the time that like the Clash broke up, but he was trying to keep them together with like different members. And he was like, if you take a drug, you're a hippie. No one wants to be a hippie. Never do a drug ever. And you're like, cool.
I was obsessed with that era of punk when I was a teenager. I always watched Sid and Nancy, and I think of Johnny Rotten in that. He's like, sex is boring hippie shit about sex. It's so funny.
Yeah, well, he's a Trump supporter now, so fucking.
I know. What a shame. Well, that's it for this episode of Bloodhaus. Thank you so much for listening. If you liked it, please rate it wherever you listen to podcasts. You can email us at bloodhousepod@gmail.com. You can follow us on X or Instagram. Drusilla, shout out your socials.
You can find me and my work at sisterhighdesign.com. Bunch of stuff over there. And you can follow me on Letterboxd. If you look for Drusilla Adeline or Sister Hyde, you can read all the thoughts on Manhunter and Longlegs and all the other weird shit I've been watching lately. And you can follow me on Instagram if you look for @HydeSister. What about you, Josh? How can people follow your troop around the social carnival?
I am at Joshua Conkel on Blue Sky, Letterboxd, and Instagram. Next week, we are returning to this century and to a somewhat more contemporary movie. What are we watching?
We are watching from Macedonian queer art house icon Goran Stalevsky, whose most recent movie, Of an Age, was really, really something. The 19th century Macedonian horror set film starring Noomi Rapace, one of my favorite contemporary actresses. We will be watching 2022's You Won't Be Alone.
Cannot wait. Very excited. See you then. Bye.